our first episode of Collector's Rewind, we're going to take a look at the 1992 Classic Major League Baseball trivia game. This is the 1992 version of Classic Major League Baseball trivia board game. As you can see, this is Series 1. It came out in a two-part series. Now, the original game, dating back to at least 1987, was designed for a 2 to 8 player game. It normally would take about 45 minutes to play a game, and it was created for ages 10 and up. I'm pretty sure that this was something that I had gotten for Christmas. It may have been kind of like a stocking stuffer, or just as I was asking for baseball cards and baseball products back at that time. I would have been around 10 years old. So pretty certain this was a Christmas gift. So the trivia game was manufactured for several years during the height of the 90s sports card craze. And guess what, guys? It seems like we're back in that area now, right? The cards are kind of like standard baseball cards, but they have 4 trivia questions on the back. And they're labeled single, double, triple, and home run. The game proceeds like a game of baseball, but to determine the results of an at-bat, the batter will spin the spinner. And the spinner would say out or one of those 4 hit choices. If you were to land on a hit, then you would have to answer one of the trivia questions on the back to actualize the hit, whether it was a single, double, triple, or a home run. And as in real baseball, 3 outs and the innings change. So it's a 9-inning game, and the player at the end with the most runs wins the game. So it's pretty much baseball with trivia. So this particular set includes the board game with a spinner. There's 4 micro player pieces in there with 4 stands. So there's 4 small cards, I believe, in there that you can use as you're playing pieces. And then you have the baseball cards with the trivia on the backside. So it says test your baseball trivia knowledge. Questions include a rookie section so that all age groups and knowledge levels can play together. So I'm guessing maybe there's some baseball, just fundamental trivia questions involved, not just necessarily statistics or league leaders and things like that. So it'll be interesting because all of these questions will date prior to 1992. So let's crack the box open. As you can see, it's never been opened. The cards are a little bit disheveled inside. That's just from being moved around from place to place over time. And the plastic has definitely color has deteriorated and it's changed over time. So interesting to open this bad boy up. If you're looking for this game online, I believe you can find it for anywhere from $7 or $8 to $20, depending on the seller and the shipping costs. So let's get into Classic Major League Baseball trivia. First time this has been opened. So there's some of the miniature cards. Pull them aside. Kind of get everything out of the box here, and then we'll take a look at them. Wow, these things, look at them. They're stuck together. They've been in there so long. So here are the little pegs, bases. Hold the miniature cards. Take the plastic insert out, and then here's the spinner and the playing card board. So I went ahead and set everything up to make it a little bit quicker. So I have a stack of some commons and minor stars here, and then this is a stack of more stars or Hall of Fame players. So we'll take a look at them first, just so you can see the cards. So you got Ryan Sandberg, Don Mattingly, Fred McGriff, Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar with the Blue Jays, Jeff Bagwell, Hall of Famer, The Bone, Jay Buhner, Kevin Mitchell. Check out Kevin Mitchell's story. Man, that dude, he was something else. Hall of Famer Jim Thome, Hall of Famer Robin Yount. Now check this out. I don't know if I've ever seen a card with Ken Griffey Jr. bunting. So even the superstars back in the 90s did what they had to do for their team to win. Griffey bunting. Check that out. So there you go. There's the back of the Griffey card. This is a pretty cool one. How about that 939? Ricky Henderson breaking the stolen base record there. Hall of Famer Cal Ripken. Dion drops in. So I don't think Dion's actually flying the helicopter or plane there. It looks like, you can see it looks like a news plane down there at the bottom. Pudge. I think Walker Buehler borrowed Pudge Rodriguez's pants. Julio Franco. There's Barry Bonds back on the Pirates. Check out this Kirby Puckett. Awesome. Frank Thomas. Tom Glavine. The Express, Nolan Ryan. Mike Mussina. Canseco. I mentioned earlier at the Shades. Check them out. And then Strawberry. I collected Darryl Strawberry. I don't know if it was just because his last name was Strawberry. I didn't really understand as a kid that much. It just seemed kind of cool to me. I'll learn a lot about him later on. And Roger Clemens. So there's a few notable names, at least guys we used to collect as kids. Let's take a closer look at the cards themselves. So we'll take a look at Frank Thomas. So just to check out the actual card style itself. So you can see these aren't cut very well, and they weren't designed to be trading cards in a sense. So you could tell that these were manufactured pretty hastily. So it's got the classic 1992 information at the top, pretty basic, white border, the player's name in a black font, and then a full color image centered on the card. So the front's pretty basic. And then when you flip it over to the back, what you have is the card number on top and the player's name. You can see a stadium in the background, and then you get some information, some statistical information, and some just personal information about the player, their height, weight, bat. So like a typical baseball card in their hometown, and then their date of birth. And then you get into some information. Looks like it's going to show just the stats from 1991. So there we go. Frank Thomas with the White Sox, batting average 318 that year, and he had a 321 average up to that point in his career. But then you get into the questions at the bottom. And you know, as I was reading through it, it's got different levels, of course. So you can see the question for a single with the S, a double with a D, triple with a T, home run, HR. And then the R is those rookie questions. So I really like that those questions are thrown in there for the younger kids. As you can see, these definitely get a little more difficult as you go. And so there's an example of a few of those. So the rookie question, there's a true false. It says the spitball was once a legal pitch. And it says true, it was prior to the mid-1930s. So there's the Frank Thomas card on the back there. And the rookie question, what did Ted Williams do in his final at bat? Well, of course, what does Ted Williams do? He gets home runs. So pretty cool that they have those questions. And then you kind of get into some more difficult ones. You can see, name the only former player to make the 1988 Hall of Fame. Well, that'd be Willie Stargell. I think this is a really awesome way to learn some baseball trivia that you may have not been familiar with as a kid. I know I would have struggled with these as a kid, but I think this is a good way to connect with my children and kind of teach them a little bit about some baseball history. So I think I can get this one right. Where does the player who is to bat next wait his turn? Well, that'd be the on-deck circle. All right, guys. So there's the cards, and let's check out the gameplay. These are the game pieces, and I thought, man, these are kind of cool. They're like a little micro card, but notice how these were cut. Man, I think somebody just sat in the office with just a pair of scissors and cut these out. Look at this. It's ridiculously crazy. You know, it's just a blank back card, but look how horrible those are cut out. It's just a game. That's the whole point of this. So I just thought that was kind of funny. So you got the game pieces set up. And let's see if we can't give this a bit of a go and see how it plays. So what was crazy was absolutely no rules came with the game. I looked through the packaging. There's no information on the inside. So I don't know if this was like an expansion, which it probably might have been an expansion from the original board game that you could buy separately. All right, so here's how this works. I'll be Barry. Barry's up at the plate. Barry hits a triple if he gets the trivia question right. So I'll ask you the trivia question, see if you can get it right. So for a triple, how many stitches is in a baseball? Okay, I'll give you some options. Is it 185, 216, 225, or 300? And the answer is 216. So if you guessed 216, good job, you hit a triple. So Barry hits a triple, spin again. Okay, home run. So I don't know at this point if you get the answer right for the home run, does he advance on to home? Or does he get like 4 bases and end up back at third? I don't know. I guess you make your house rules because the game didn't come with any, it didn't come with any instructions. So I guess you just make it up as you go. Let's look at the home run question, see if you guys can get it. All right, so this is a pretty interesting question. What did Jack Billingham do on April 4th, 1974? So the key part of this question is the date, April 4th, 1974. And I'll give you one other hint, Babe Ruth. So what does 1974 and Babe Ruth have in common? Well, if you guessed that he gave up Hank Aaron's 714th home run, then you're correct. So there you go. So there's what all the questions look like on the back. So I guess at that point, if we got it right, we'd score a run. Still not have any outs, and I guess we keep playing. All right, so 1 is a walk. Let's see what we have for a walk. I guess you just walk because there's no question for walk. So hey, take a base. All right, I just get 4 walks and I have to answer any questions. Oh, so there's an out. Okay, so there's how you're out. So we got 1 out. Another walk. This is riveting. Oh, my choice. I think I'll take a double, knock this guy in. What do you say? All right, let's see what Mike Messina has to say at a double. Which famous old-time player invented the fadeaway ball? The fadeaway pitch. Now, I know a guy that watches this channel that probably knows this answer. This is an old-time, and I say old-time, I guess a pre-war player. So the fadeaway ball was created by one Christy Mathewson. So Barry scored another run. All right, guys, so there is the 1992 Classic Baseball Trivia Board game. Man, I've had this thing for so long, and this is the first time I've ever taken it out of the pack. So I think me and my son are going to have to really get polished up on these trivia questions, and I think it'll be a good way for him to learn a little bit of baseball history. This would be some really challenging questions, I know, for a lot of us out there, but what a interesting thing, man. I mean, I've had this thing tucked away so long. Probably could have learned a lot of interesting facts if I hadn't have kept it put up forever, but you know, a couple takeaways from it is, one, it's some pretty difficult questions, just a few of the ones that we looked at, unless you knew a lot about baseball. So for a kid, I probably would have struggled with those. So it would have been more of a learning experience than knowing the game. 2, it's a really simple setup. 3, it didn't come with any rules. So in 92, it would have been very difficult probably for me as a 10-year-old to understand how to play this game without the rules. They didn't come in the box, so I don't know if this is an expansion of the larger board game that was out there, and these were add-ons, but it seems like it's pretty much fairly standalone. Maybe you just make up your own rules as you go, as you spin the spinner. You know, it's kind of straightforward. It's baseball, so you got walks, outs, doubles, triples. So that's kind of cool. I guess you can just kind of agree on how you would progress around the bases with whoever you're playing with. This will be really fun to play with my kids. Let them learn some old baseball trivia, and maybe I'll probably learn a lot of stuff from this too, but just something that when I was 10, I never played with. Now as an adult, playing with my son who's about the same age, or I have a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, so getting them involved, that would be pretty cool. It was also really cool to see some cards that I'd never seen, even though I've had them for all these years. And maybe these are some that you would never seen either of your player, and maybe that might encourage you to go out and try to find these cards. I'm sure they're relatively inexpensive to pick up, but if you are a player collector, no doubt this would be something you would probably want to find. So that'll do it for the first episode of Collector's Rewind. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a really good time doing this, and especially just discovering some old things that I had, but Stay tuned for the next episode, and I think what we'll probably be doing is taking a look at this box that I found stuffed away. So these are, I'm not sure, I think they're 1989 yearbook stickers. So we'll kind of go through these, take a look at what these look like, and I think I'll let my son put them in the book. I found the book as well. All right, thanks for checking out the video, guys. And remember, if you collect, do it for the love of the hobby. See ya.